my sidekick, Dabby, and today I am doing the International Book Tag. I would like to thank Love Me Some Sarcasm for tagging me in this book tag. And if you want to see an awesome international book tag, check hers out. She has some very unknown books from various areas, which is basically the idea of this tag. It's talking about books that aren't from the country that you're from, in my case, America. And honestly, it made me realize how few international books I read. I have so many books on my to-read list from America that I would love to say that I am making it a priority to read other more international books. Unfortunately, I'm not in a place right now to do that because there are so many books that I already have to read. But on a grander scale, I actually now would really like to do that now that I'm realizing that I'm kind of lacking in that area. But anyway, definitely check out Love Me Some Sarcasm if you would like to see a fantastic list of international books. Not to downplay my own, but you'll see. Obviously, I could get into Harry Potter and Me Before You, which were written by authors that are not American, but those are a little too mainstream for me to get into, and I think most of the books I'm talking about will also be, but maybe not that much. First, I'm going to talk about the Ruby Red trilogy. It was written by a German author, and I don't have a physical copy. I read it on my Nook. So Ruby Red is about a girl who is in a family where somebody in each generation is a time traveler. There are these set rules, and I really did enjoy this trilogy. I actually have a major issue with something in the last book, and this is actually something I've mentioned in a previous talk where I mentioned that something that nobody else seemed to notice, but it really bothers me, and I do plan to talk about it at some point. Not this video because this was all spoilers, but it is an enjoyable ride. Like I said, there's one thing that really bothers me about the last book, and I don't know if it was because it was originally written in German and translated into English. I don't know if there was an issue with the translation. It doesn't seem like that type of thing. Again, I'm not going to get into it right now. It was an enjoyable trilogy though, and most people didn't even notice the one thing that annoyed me. So I definitely recommend that one. Check it out. Check out my video about what annoyed me once you have read it if you're interested in that, or if you don't want to ruin your wonderful experience by something that I noticed, then don't. Next up, I have Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Both of them are from Australia, and if you have not read this book yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I did a Fandom Feels book talk with Kate and Natasha talking about this book, and I'm obsessed. It's amazing. It reads like nothing you've ever read before. It looks like nothing you've ever seen before, and it's just an amazing adventure. It's about two people that break up that morning but then are on the run when their planet is attacked. And the attackers are still chasing the ship that one of them is on now, and they need to literally fight for their survival. And there are twists and turns, and the entire thing is told in paperwork, which sounds awful, but it's really cool. It goes through emails and texts and in artificial intelligence. Like I said, it's just a wild ride and definitely worth the read. I've also heard the audiobook is the greatest thing ever. I haven't checked it out myself yet, but I've heard amazing things about the audiobook for this book as well. Then, of course, there's Gemina, the sequel to Illuminae, which I got an ARC for, thanks to my friend Flo, who I love. And it's on sale next month. But I did read this one. I didn't do a full book talk for it because I did read an ARC, and then I read so many books since then. But I did talk about it a little bit in one of my wrap-ups, and this book was phenomenal. It did not disappoint from the first one. Definitely check these two out. Australian authors, which is kind of cool on its own, but worth reading even if you don't like international writing, which I seem to not give it much of a chance. But this one's amazing! Finally, there's a book that I actually read for a college course. It's called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. It's written by an author from Northampton in the UK. I read it so long ago, but I believe it's about an autistic boy that is trying to figure out how a dog died. And it's written from the perspective of the autistic boy. And I read it for my special education classes. It's just phenomenal. You see through the eyes of a child with autism that just sees the world in a different way than you, that doesn't understand how to communicate with people, and yet he's forced to go from door to door and talk to people to try to find out this mystery. Especially if you're interested in the autism spectrum or in development of children or anything. It's great. It's definitely worth reading if you have any interest in that whatsoever. Unfortunately, that's it. I apparently haven't read like any other books from non-American authors, which is terrible. At least I haven't made it through. Because there were a couple books I tried reading before I became an avid reader and couldn't make it through that were by non-American authors. But in recent years, I guess I've kind of stuck to America. Not on purpose, but it happens. I think it's partly because a lot of the books are people that go to YALLFest, and those are mostly Americans because it's in America. But anyway, that's it, unfortunately. I do want to read some more international books. I'm not sure when. I am tagging two people on here. I am tagging Book Your Imagination, who is the person that tagged me in the newcomers book tag, so this is kind of like a return tag. And I'm also tagging Lulo Fangirl, who has a lot going on right now, so I'm not sure if she's actually going to do this tag, but I think she might be interested in it, especially if I think she could tie it into some of the diversity stuff that she has going on right now, which if you have not been following that at all, she is doing some amazing things right now. So check her out. I will link her page below. And I will see you next time. Bye!